Ebola is back in the headlines, and the people who are supposed to contain it are reportedly being told to stand down. Wait, what? Here's what just dropped, and why you should care even if you live nowhere near an outbreak zone. Stat News, one of the most trusted medical outlets in the country, just reported that the CDC says containing the spread of Ebola is its top priority right now. Top priority, not a watch item, not a routine surveillance bulletin. Top priority. And in the same breath, the report says the Trump administration is disregarding the infectious disease playbook. Let that sit for a second, because here's the thing nobody likes to say out loud. The reason you have never personally known someone who died of Ebola is not luck. It is a playbook. A boring, bureaucratic, deeply unsexy playbook that public health people have been refining for decades. And when that playbook gets ignored, the virus does not politely wait for the next administration. It moves. So what is actually happening? According to the reporting from Stats Morning Rounds, the CDC is sounding the alarm that stopping Ebola's spread has to be the number one focus. At the same time, the administration in charge of the federal response is reportedly not following the standard infectious disease containment approach. And into that gap, an organization called CPI is stepping in to offer vaccine funding. CPI stands for the Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness Innovations. They are the group that helped bankroll some of the COVID vaccine development. They exist precisely for moments like this, moments when governments hesitate and a virus does not. Now let me tell you why this should make the hair in your arms stand up. Ebola is not the flu. Ebola is not COVID. Ebola, in its worst outbreaks, has killed roughly half the people it infects. Some strains have killed up to 90%. It is one of the most lethal viruses humanity has ever cataloged, and the only reason it has not become a global household nightmare is because of fast, aggressive containment. Contact tracing, isolation, burial protocols, boots on the ground, vaccines when they are available. That is the playbook. That is the thing being disregarded according to this report. You want to know what your doctor probably will not say out loud at your next checkup. They are scared, not of you catching Ebola at the grocery store tomorrow. They are scared of what happens to the system that protects you when the people running it decide the rules do not apply. Because the system is the only thing standing between a contained outbreak somewhere far away and a chain of transmission that reaches a city near you. Let me explain how Ebola actually spreads. Because the myth everyone still believes is that it floats through the air like measles. It does not. Ebola spreads through direct contact with bodily fluids, blood, vomit, sweat, the bodies of the dead. That is why funerals have historically been super spreader events in outbreak zones. That is why healthcare workers die at horrifying rates when protective equipment runs out. And that is why containment works, when it is actually done. You can stop Ebola. You just have to move faster than it does. Here's a body fact that sounds fake but is not. When Ebola infects you, it does not just attack one organ. It attacks your blood vessels themselves. It causes the lining of your capillaries to leak. Your body essentially starts bleeding into itself. That is why the late stages look the way they do. That is why survivors often have long-term complications in their eyes, their joints, their nervous systems. The virus can hide in places the immune system cannot easily reach. Survivors have been found carrying live virus in their eye fluid months after recovery. In semen, even longer. This is not a normal pathogen. This is something that rewrites the rules of what a virus is allowed to do. And now ask yourself a harder question. Why is CPI, a coalition that is not the United States government, the one offering vaccine funding right now? Because that is the tell. That is the signal that the usual machinery is not running the way it is supposed to. When outside organizations have to step in to do what your federal health apparatus normally leads on, something is wrong upstream. The reporting from STAT frames it exactly that way. The administration is disregarding the playbook. CEPI is filling the gap. You might be thinking, okay, but Ebola outbreaks have happened before and the world did not end. True. Every single time, though, it was because somebody followed the playbook. The 2014 West Africa outbreak killed more than 11,000 people. It only stopped because of an enormous coordinated international response. The 2018 to 2020 outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo killed over 2,200 people. It was contained because vaccines and contact tracers got there in time. Every win against Ebola has been a manufactured win, not a lucky one. So what does it mean when the manufacturing line slows down? It means the next outbreak does not get the same response the last one did. It means contact tracers might not be deployed in time. It means vaccine doses might not arrive where they need to. It means the runway between a local outbreak and an international event gets shorter. That is the quiet thing the CDC's top priority warning is really saying. Now here is the part most people miss. Public health is invisible when it works. You do not notice the diseases that never reached you. You do not get a thank you note from a virus that was contained 2,000 miles away. The entire profession is built around preventing things you will never experience, which means the people doing the work get almost no credit and almost no political protection. When the system is strong, you have no reason to think about it. When the system gets weakened, you also have no reason to think about it, until suddenly you do. And by the time you do, it is usually too late to fix it on the timeline the virus is running. Let me give you a feel for the speed problem. Ebola has an incubation period of 2 to 21 days. That means a person can be infected and walking around feeling fine for up to 3 weeks before symptoms hit. In a globalized world, 3 weeks is more than enough time to cross continents. That is why the early days of any outbreak are the only days that really matter. Miss the first window, and you are no longer containing. You are chasing. Here is what your doctor probably will not tell you because it is not their job to make you panic. The infrastructure that protects you from things like Ebola is not made of walls or borders or screening at airports. It is made of relationships. Relationships between American epidemiologists and field workers in Uganda, between CDC liaisons and ministries of health in West Africa, between vaccine manufacturers and emergency stockpiles. Those relationships took decades to build. They can be damaged in months, and when they are damaged, the warning system that tells your doctor what is coming gets quieter. So when Stat News reports that the CDC is naming Ebola containment as its top priority while the administration is reportedly sidestepping the standard playbook, that is not a small political story. That is a signal flare. It is the people whose entire job is to see the next pandemic coming, saying, "We are trying to wave at you. Look up." CEPI offering vaccine funding is a hopeful note in the middle of that. It means somebody is still ready to pay for the science. The vaccines exist. There is an Ebola vaccine called Ervebo that is highly effective against the Zaire strain. There are others in development for other strains. The tools are real. The question is whether the political will and the logistical machinery will be there to use them at the speed required. You want a surprising body fact to take with you? Your immune system right now is technically capable of fighting Ebola. People do survive. The survivors are not superhuman. Their immune systems just got enough of a head start, usually because they got supportive care fast. Fluids, electrolytes, treatment for secondary infections. In a hospital with modern care, survival rates jump dramatically. In a village with no medical infrastructure, they crash. The virus is the same. The outcome depends almost entirely on what surrounds the patient, which is again the playbook. So what should you actually do with this information? You do not need to buy a hazmat suit. You do not need to cancel your vacation. What you should do is pay attention. Pay attention to which agencies are being funded and which are being gutted. Pay attention to who is being put in charge of pandemic response and what their track record actually is. Pay attention to whether the United States is staying in the international coordination bodies that share outbreak information in real time. Because those are the levers. Those are the things that decide whether the next Ebola headline you read is about an outbreak that was stopped or an outbreak that spread. And ask yourself this: if the CDC is telling you in plain language that this is their top priority, and the administration over them is reportedly not following the standard response, who do you trust to be right about the virus? The career scientists who have spent their entire lives studying this exact pathogen, or the political appointees who decided the playbook was optional? That is the real story under the story, not Ebola itself. The question of who gets to decide whether we use the tools we already have. Because viruses do not negotiate. They do not care about election cycles. They do not pause for press conferences. They replicate, they spread, they find the cracks in whatever system you have built to stop them. And the only thing that has ever worked, every single time, is a coordinated, well-funded, science-led response that moves faster than the pathogen. The CDC says containing Ebola is the top priority. The reporting says the people above them are not acting like it is. CEPI is stepping in with money because somebody has to. And you are sitting there, hearing this maybe for the first time, in a moment when the decision about how seriously to take it is being made without you in the room. Here's the line I want you to remember. Public health is a promise that the people in charge will care about the threat before you have to. When that promise gets broken, you do not find out by reading a memo. You find out by counting the sick.